One Piece Chapter 1114 dropped officially earlier today, and it has proven itself to be one of the most incredible chapters of the Egghead Island arc. It almost feels like fans get to say this every week with how good Egghead has been going. But that is simply the truth, and Oda has surprised all fans by kicking off the final saga in an incredibly exciting fashion. The Egghead Island arc has been nothing short of staggering for the fans, based on the major revelations that have been made here, and what it sets up for the future of the story. This week's chapter continued Vegapunk's message, which fans knew would dive deep into some secrets of the world, and of course, the Void Century as well. That is precisely what ended up happening in One Piece Chapter 1114, and it seems that there's a lot more to come after this as well. Vegapunk's message continues. One Piece Chapter 1114 saw the continuation of Vegapunk's message. This is something that did not surprise the fans in the slightest. This is simply down to the fact that Vegapunk's message had to continue after he said that the world was going to sink. Vegapunk mentioned previously that he wanted to talk about the truth of the world, and simply saying that the world was going to sink was not going to be it. Of course, that was a bold prediction, however. It was only a prelude to what he was going to say next, and this is something that we predicted earlier on. In One Piece Chapter 1114, Vegapunk dove deep into the history of the world. Prior to that, however, he made a bold prediction saying that the world of One Piece is going to sink, and that in the coming days, the water level was going to rise by 1 meter. Several islands would be inundated completely, and others would become uninhabitable. Vegapunk then went on to say that if these events don't come to pass, then people of the world can simply ignore the message. However, if they were to happen, then the world should carefully heed what he has to say next. The people of the world were rightly shocked at hearing this. They knew that Vegapunk recorded this message long ago, and that he had already died by this point. The fact that he was able to predict the earthquakes and the following rise in water level was proof of the fact that what Vegapunk was saying was absolutely correct. He then went on to address the 2 sins that he committed. The first sin that Vegapunk committed was down to his quest for an everlasting source of power. This is what led him to create Mother Flame, and this is a power source that was used by those of the ancient kingdom long ago, as was implied by Vegapunk himself. The Mother Flame can also be used in destructive ways, as was shown by Ima earlier. Mother Flame can be used as a power cell to utilize one of the ancient weapons, likely Uranus, which is in the possession of the world government right now. This creation was Vegapunk's very first sin, and he himself mentioned this as flying too close to the sun. Vegapunk then went on to address the past of the One Piece world, because in order to fully understand the present situation, one needs to know the past. This is what led him to his second sin, and that was to study the poneglyphs and carry on the work of the people of O'Hara. Vegapunk studied the poneglyphs and deciphered quite a few of them, and this led him to finally understand bits about those who lived long ago in a prosperous kingdom, and a very special individual that existed long ago as well. Revelations about Joy Boy. One Piece Chapter 1114 was almost entirely focused on this message, as fans expected. As such, there was not much else for the fans to focus on. That said, there were small events that took place here and there. For example, Saturn was seen fighting against the likes of the Straw Hat Pirates, and he eventually blew past them and reached the Mother Flame. What exactly Saturn intends to do with the Mother Flame remains to be seen, however. Right now, there is no clear hint by Oda as to where this plot point is leading. Similarly, another interesting plot point that was touched upon in One Piece Chapter 1114 was the transponder snail hunt. The fact that the 5 elders are still looking for the transponder snail keeps the possibility of this message being cut short alive. Oda may reveal a portion of the message and then choose to cut the message right before Vegapunk is going to reveal something major. This is a massive possibility that could end up coming too as well. Regardless, the biggest part of One Piece Chapter 1114 came towards the end, when Dr. Vegapunk continued his message and talked about the Void Century. According to Dr. Vegapunk, during the Void Century, which happened around 900 to 800 years ago, some major events took place that nobody right now knows about. The only key to finding out the truth about what happened back then are the poneglyphs that were left behind by the people of this ancient kingdom that prospered during this time. Vegapunk's study of the poneglyphs gave him a bit of information pertaining to what happened long ago. However, his knowledge on this subject is still insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Still, what he knows is what he's going to make public, and he clearly mentioned in this chapter that the star of the story is an individual who was born 900 years ago in this incredibly advanced kingdom and held a rubbery body with the powers of stretching, akin to the sun god Nika from the Tales of Elbaf, and that this individual was named Joy Boy. Vegapunk continued to say the Joy Boy was the first person to actually take to the seas and, thus, the very first pirate in the world of One Piece. This is an absolutely massive revelation, and the fans are incredibly excited to see where this plot point goes next. Vegapunk's message is most definitely going to continue in the upcoming chapter, and it is going to be only a matter of time before the world government will be shaken to its very core, and the entire world turns upside down. The Egghead Island arc has kick-started what can be called the most chaotic part of One Piece, and fans cannot wait to see what comes next. And in other news, One Piece, Oda confirms Joy Boy and Nika to be different characters. One Piece Chapter 1114 has proven itself to be yet another incredible chapter, and one that many consider to be one of the very best in the Egghead Island arc. Of course, there was not much action in the chapter. However, the best aspect of One Piece has hardly ever been action. Fans love the series for its story and incredible attention to detail, along with intricate plot lines that, sometimes, get solved decades down the line. One Piece Chapter 1114 was a chapter that focused on these aspects of the series, and blew away the fans in more ways than one. Of course, given that Vegapunk's message was centered around the Void Century, there was always going to be mention of characters such as Joy Boy, and of course, the legend of the sun god Nika as well. The legend of the sun god Nika. The legend of the sun god Nika was properly explained to the fans in the Wano Country arc. That said, mention of the sun god was made long ago in One Piece. In the Skypiea arc, the winged races of the Shandians made mention of the sun god, and the Scypians themselves prayed to this godly entity as well. The sun god was a myth and legend. However, due to the prayers of the people, Luffy always emerged where the sun god would have been. There are other cultures in the world of One Piece that worship the sun itself. For instance, in the Whole Cake Island arc, fans saw that the race of giants prayed to the sun. When Mother Carmel did her miracle in Elbaf, which led to her being respected for years to come, she did so by claiming that it was the sun god who came to quell the disaster. Clearly, the people of Elbaf always held the sun god in high regard, and it was believed that this figure was one of the deities. In the Wano Country arc, however, Oda took these things a level beyond. Sun god Nika was revealed to be a legendary figure, or, more accurately, a god who people believed in long ago. This god was prayed to, especially by the slaves of the world, or those who were in a dire situation and needed help desperately. The sun god brought with him laughter and joy, and freed people from their miseries, putting a smile on their faces and liberating them in the process. This is why the sun god was also known as the warrior of liberation. When Luffy awakened his devil fruit, it was clear for the fans to see that the Gorosei also knew of the existence of the sun god. This is because they provided exposition to Luffy's powers, and clearly mentioned that this godly entity held the most ridiculous power of all. In the Egghead Island arc, Nika and Joy Boy were used interchangeably to refer to Luffy. However, now, it has been made clear that these two are separate entities. The history of Joy Boy. While Nika was first hinted at in the Skypiea arc, the first mention of Joy Boy in One Piece came during the Fishman Island arc. This was when Robin found a poneglyph from Joy Boy in the sea forest, where he mentioned that he couldn't fulfill his promise to the fishmen and the merfolk of taking them to the surface. Oda later revealed that Joy Boy's promise was to take this race to the surface to live together with everyone. However, because of unforeseen circumstances, he could not fulfill his promise. That said, Joy Boy mentioned that someone else will come in the future and carry his will as well as fulfill the task that he left unfinished. Many people in the world of One Piece are well aware of who Joy Boy is. For instance, the Roger pirates found all out about Joy Boy when they reached the final island, Laugh Tale. Roger himself wished that he could live in Joy Boy's era. In this final message, Joy Boy also mentioned that he would return in 800 years this time. At the same time, Odin wanted to open the gates of Wano to herald the coming of Joy Boy, which he knew would happen in around 20 years of time. If that wasn't enough, then fans also need to keep in mind that Kaido was deeply interested in the idea of Joy Boy, and he even wanted to become Joy Boy himself at one point. King and the Lunarians had a deep connection to Joy Boy, and that again goes to show that this individual was widely respected in many places on Earth 900 or so years ago. How Joy Boy and Nika differ from each other. For the longest time, fans believed that Joy Boy and Nika were the same individuals. However, it has now been confirmed that they are not. Technically speaking, Joy Boy and Nika can be used interchangeably when it comes to referring to the previous Joy Boy or Luffy. However, there is a big difference between these individuals. When speaking of the sun god Nika, fans need to keep in mind that this god might or might not have been real. This god originated from the land of Elbaf, where tales of its existence were popular. There are many stories about the sun god Nika, and that is precisely why the giants of Elbaf pay tribute to it with festivals such as the winter solstice. Essentially, fans do not know if the sun god Nika was a real god or not. However, that really doesn't matter. Then, the second thing that the fans need to keep in mind is Vegapunk's message about the creation of devil fruits. According to Vegapunk himself, devil fruits are birthed because people wish for them. Clearly, someone wanted the sun god to be real and protect them from the terrors of the world, such as slavery, and potentially even the other horrors caused by the collaboration of the 20 kings during the Void Century or before. This essentially created a devil fruit which held the power of the sun god Nika. The first individual to eat this devil fruit was called Joy Boy. Then, Joy Boy became the first user of the same devil fruit that Luffy has. And because of that, Joy Boy was also called Nika because he holds the power of Nika. After the death of Joy Boy, this devil fruit returned into circulation and eventually found its way to Luffy, who became the second Joy Boy and also the sun god, Nika. Technically, the sun god Nika precedes even Joy Boy and is a mythical god that either exists or doesn't exist in the One Piece world. Fans will likely never find out the truth, but it is the belief in the god that essentially gave rise to this devil fruit. That is how devil fruits work in the first place. Joy Boy simply came after Nika and consumed the power of the devil fruit, which was a result of someone wishing for the existence of this godly entity. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos very soon.